RFK Jr. tells people to vaccinate children against measles amid outbreak. Really? I guess even the most stubborn reeds have to bend to the wind eventually. Wokeness got to him. The surge of infections and measles has reached numbers not seen in the past 35 years. Made his call in the course of a contentious interview with CNN State of the Union. I think I have some clips of that up here, actually. Let me see if I can't.
The measles cases in the U.S. just reached a 35-year high. The second record-breaking year in a row. 93% of these cases are among the unvaccinated. The outbreak has happened on your watch. And even before becoming HHS secretary, for years, you have been one of the leading voices questioning the efficacy of vaccines. Do you accept some responsibility for this measles outbreak?
Absolutely not. First of all, this is an international outbreak. And we're doing better at handling it than any country in the world.
Oh, I'm sure.
Mexico has 15 times the amount of measles per capita that we have.
I think we might be a slightly wealthier country than Mexico. We might maybe have like the ability to provide vaccines to all of our people, whereas Mexico still has some impoverished territories, but okay.
Canada has 4 times the amount of measles. England has 2 times the amount of measles. Did I cause those measles outbreaks?
You're the
So
most
defensive.
famous.
Did I cause 137,000 cases?
You're the most
in
famous
Europe?
vaccine skeptic on the planet.
Let me tell you, because actually Anthony Fauci in his diaries answers the question about why we're having a measles outbreak right now. The reason we're having a measles outbreak because of the COVID lockdowns, because people didn't, like children.
Because of 6 years ago. Dude, we're going to be hearing this shit for like the rest of our lives, man. All these people who have tricked themselves into being mad over a couple months of lockdowns. I legitimately don't care. They're going to keep, they're doing this with the Fauci trials right now too. They're like, they all have to pretend to be super mad about it. I don't fucking believe you. I don't believe any of you. You're faking it so hard.
During that period, did not get vaccinated. And in his diaries, he says this is going to cause massive outbreaks of measles and more children, he says this, are going to die. Let me finish, because you could accuse me of something. Now let me...
No, I didn't.
God damn it. Now I have to unmod nuts to mute
let me give you
him
the
for an
answer.
hour.
He says in his diaries, more children are going to die from measles because of these lockdowns than COVID. So if you want to know, and that age group that should have gotten the MMR when they were 18 months and didn't get it, they're the ones being infected. The people in this country, and we have stopped the outbreaks at record speed in South Carolina, in Texas, in Utah, in Virginia. We've done better than any country in the world. I dispatch immediately the epidemic intelligence services to those states. I get on the phone with the governor and we stop them in their tracks. Nobody else has been able to do that.
You have a bully pulpit.
Let me tell you just one.
It's crazy how defensive he is. I mean, this is basically just a scaled up version of that shit he did before where he promoted vaccine denialism. Which country was it that led directly to the deaths of multiple children?
One last thing.
Go ahead.
The communities that are suffering from measles are
American
almost
Samoa.
all religious communities that just don't vaccinate. The Mennonites have not vaccinated since 1796, since Edward Jenner invented the smallpox vaccine. It's hard to blame that. I mean, as much as you want to blame
No, I don't want to blame you.
He's so defensive. And he's talking to Dana Bash too, one of the most like shameless servants of Capital on CNN too.
I'm asking you because you have a very powerful voice on these issues for people who are skeptical. Let me finish. Let me finish.
And I've never questioned the efficacy of the MMR vaccine.
Okay. What are you? Okay. No, sure.
Beneficial.
So how do you prepare then? How do you prepare for the next pandemic? I mean, that's literally part of your job now because experts think it's going to happen within the next 10 years again.
Yeah, I mean, I think we did virtually everything wrong the last time.
So what about now?
The principal thing that we need to do is we need to listen to what's happening to doctors on the ground. There are 15 million frontline physicians around the world. They're mainly now connected through the internet. We can tell on the front lines what's working and what's not. If we had listened to those doctors during the COVID pandemic, we would have saved potentially millions of lives. There were therapeutics out there that were working. There were doctors that were having no deaths from COVID and treating, in some cases,
I don't think this guy has an idea of what we're going to do during the next pandemic.
thousands of patients. And we weren't listening to them. Instead, we were doing the opposite. We were shutting them down. And then, Dana, the other thing that I would say is that we need to protect our constitutional rights. That is the primary obligation of our country.
Mean?
Well,
it means no lockdowns. That's what he's like this long rambling answer, but the gist of it, the point of it is him saying like, well, whatever our solution is, it can't be what we did before, which was unconstitutionally, employing the COVID lockdowns.
In COVID, we completely dismantled our constitutional rights. We began censoring people in violation of the First Amendment.
But you're saying what not to do. I'm asking what to do. But I want to talk about.
That's something to do. That is the number one priority. We protect the Constitution. The Constitution was written.
Forgive me, but you're talking about rights, and I'm asking about a potential public health crisis that is coming. But I do want to
And one of the mistakes we made in the last time was suppressing those rights so people weren't being heard. The doctors who were saying,
he literally has nothing to say other than this. Like, hey, no lockdowns, no lockdowns, no lockdowns, nothing else, no lockdowns, no lockdowns.
Saying you're doing it wrong, for being marginalized and vilified.
Yeah,
and
because again, I really want to move on, but.
Yeah,
you were saying you were. Yes,
I do. You were part of the problem.
No, I wasn't part of the problem.
There was absolute press malpractice. You weren't allowing your
Mr.
job.
Secretary,
your job is a fierce skepticism toward authority, and you weren't doing that. You were beating up
my job.
A lot of people would actually rather die. Good. COVID mortality rates were higher in red communities. The next time there's a big disease, I hope that they learn no lessons.
We're dissenting.
No. Okay. You want to sit here and attack me, or do you want to have conversations about public health? I'm not attacking you. I'm asking questions about how to prevent the next pandemic.
Question, and I'll tell you.
That's what I'm trying to do. But I also don't want to use this interview to allow you to say things that aren't entirely true. You're talking about therapeutics, fine. It is also factually true that the COVID vaccine worked. The COVID vaccine prevented deaths. There is data upon data upon data.
Does he respond? Wait, hold on. Let me see the full thing. Because I want to know how he responds to that. Hold on. Where are they? Where's the clip for this? I don't see it on CNN's YouTube channel. Do they not typically release State of the Union videos right away?
And I've never questioned the efficacy of the MMR vaccine.
Okay, let me finish. What I want you to do is please use your bully pulpit to right now, as we're getting close to back to school, are you willing to say to parents who have not vaccinated their kids that they should vaccinate their kids for measles because it is safe and it will help them save their children's lives?
We tell people on my websites, my public
right now, look into the camera.
Now that parents should get their children vaccinated for measles. A measles vaccine is effective. It stops measles in about 97% of the cases. Well, people should get vaccinated.
Can I ask you?
He's probably willing to cede ground on this because it's not an mRNA vaccine, right? So it's like his particular grift has been unscientifically questioning the safety of mRNA vaccines. MMR, not RNA, MMR vaccines. But the measles one is, it's old enough that he's not going to pitch a fit over it.
You have been placing nearly all the blame on the...
The other thing that I would say is that we need to protect our constitutional rights.
Vaccine prevented deaths. There is data upon data upon data. Let's talk about the measles, please, because this is something that is happening.
He just allows that to sit because he has nothing to say.
Cases in the U.S.
Vaccine protected children.
I think that what I have talked to scientists and doctors
Talk to
about.
scientists. Can you show me one study
Yes, I can.
that shows that
I can.
children were protected by the COVID vaccine?
I can tell you that there are.
Vaccine did more good than harm to children. Can you show me one study that shows that?
I can tell you that when it comes to the vaccine, there have been studies that show that because of
measles is MMR. Then am I thinking of mRNA? I'm sorry. It's been a little while since I've argued COVID stuff, so I might have some of the acronyms mixed up. But my understanding is that RFK Jr. reheats conspiracies from that fucking British guy who said that this like modern way of developing vaccines is particularly harmful because it leads to like a more rapid immunization schedule because you get injected for multiple things at once. But the MMR vaccine, then, thank you, measles, mumps, and rubella, is not from that process, right? Andrew Wakefield, that's the British guy. No, he was against MMR. Okay, then am I thinking about mRNA? I think that I mixed those two up. All right, I'll check my priors on that and make sure that I'm using it correctly in the future. Thank you for reminding me.
See, disinformation, there could have been 100 to 200,000 lives in the U.S. saved. But because people didn't get the vaccine, that's why. I'm not saying that it entirely.
You are saying nonsense. You are saying something that you cannot show me.
Okay.
A single study.
I am not saying nonsense.
You are talking what somebody told you.
Excuse me.
Damn, he's like actually really mad. I mean, it makes sense. He is demented. He's like personally crazy.
And you cite me the study. What study?
No, what studies are you talking about?
Remember, he gets his kids vaccinated. Just keep that in mind.
You're talking about studies that actually don't exist. I want to talk about.
Cite me the study that you're talking about.
I am not here to defend.
Study. Cite me the study.
This is not productive. I am not here to defend all of the.
You're talking nonsense.
Do you think he's the only people in the cabinet? He's not a true believer at all. He got his kids vaccinated. He's not a true believer at all. He's always been a grifter. He just understands that he can make money trading off his name. Remember, he ran in the Democratic presidential primary in 2024 and switched sides to be part of Trump's cabinet because he was promised a cabinet seat. He ran as a Democrat, and his only message was, I'm a Kennedy, I'm a Kennedy, I'm a Kennedy. And then he literally went to the Trump team and said, I will work for you if you get me a good job. Like, he is like the most disingenuous motherfucker in the world.
Assertions you can't support, and then when I call you on them, you're telling me that I'm arguing.
Okay, do you want to talk about assertions that you can't support? I'll get there in a second. Let me just say, for the record, that I am not saying that the entire way that the COVID reaction was accurate. It was a scary time, and people made mistakes. Absolutely.
You were scaring people.
Why are you saying that?
If a new pandemic breaks out, you don't immediately know how exactly it works, so you take the greatest precautionary measures possible. Very basic 101 stuff. Very, very basic 101.
Because that was the job of CNN.
Okay.
Was to put the chyrons up about how many people.
It's so funny that Dana Bash is like a loyal slave to Israel, but she's going to get canned by the Ellisons too in favor of like an even crazier person. You know, like she's not crazy enough for MAGA.
We were trying to we were listening to the leaders in this country, including the president, who had a daily press conference explaining what was going on and trying to listen.
Were you listening?
I want to talk to measles.
Actually, were you reading the science yourself?
The measles cases in the U.S. just reached a 35-year high. The second record-breaking year in a row. 93% of these cases are among the unvaccinated.
What's the end game for them? They don't care. The modern right wing is defined in large part by being anti-civilization. They're not just anti-empirics. They literally don't care. Mass death is fine with them. They don't care. There's no long plan here. It doesn't matter. It does not. They're just death cultists. He just wants to make money as a public health grifter. That's it. There's no broader scheme here. Whether it fucks them over in the future, it doesn't matter.
The outbreak is happening on your watch. And even before becoming HHS secretary, for years, you have been one of the leading voices questioning the efficacy of vaccines. Do you accept some responsibility for this measles outbreak?
Absolutely not. First of all,
Yeah,
this
we
is
saw this bit.
international.
Let's just see how it ends, because like I can't stand listening to his voice too much longer.
What we're talking about is ultra-processed food definition
Exactly.
and the GRAS standards.
Yes.
And they've both gone through extensive interagency process. I'm very confident that we will get them both out there within probably a month.
Well, I'm sorry that this, and that's good news for people who are very moms, and I'm one of them, who are very worried about making sure that our kids eat food and we eat food that is healthy.
Did he spill the whole cup here? When did...
Causes problems that things...
Repeat things that natural immunity about the
not
transmission
spilled
from the vaccine, about the source of COVID. He was lying, and you were punishing people for not trusting the experts. And now you're rolling out the experts again
Yes.
to talk about something that you have no personal knowledge of.
Okay, well, guess what? That is my job, to talk to people.
Your job is to
Am I
tell the
allowed to
truth
talk?
to the American
Yes,
public.
yes, and my job
And
is
to
to
be-
get as
and-
much information as
It is a little bit satisfying, because this is Dana Bash's fault. By holding water for illiberalism and being a loyal servant of capital, she enabled the exact environment that produced this. Dana Bash engaged in the, like, she is not just complicit, but enormously complicit in the erosion of public trust in media, in large part because, like, doing the job of a journalist would involve critiquing her masters, capital. Not just within her network, CNN, but also the broader system. She's held water for the systems that have eroded at the technocracy that she's relied on to hold her job. So now she's looking at a retard of her own creation. In a world Dana Bash wanted, RFK Jr. would never be even close to power, but it is the world she created.
And to
And
maintain
what we were doing-
a posture
what we were
of
doing-
fear, skepticism
what we
toward
were
government
doing
authority.
in COVID and still with regard to these vaccines is getting the best information, the best science that we can, and putting it out there. And sir, what you are doing is causing
getting the best
information
science
to
from
be out there
somebody
that
who's
is
lying
not
to you.
accurate.
Who was lying to
The
you?
National Academy of Sciences, which you just cited in November,
Damn, the camera didn't...
said we
No, why would you not use his camera when it happens? Why the fuck would you cut to her? What the fuck?
support the statement that vaccines do not cause autism. This is the National Academy of Sciences that you just talked about.
Look at the National
God damn
Academy
it.
of Science most recent report.
Okay.
And you'll see.
I want to ask you one other question, because it's something that really did help Donald Trump get elected, and that is the MAHA movement, and specifically the question of processed foods.
Of what?
And processed foods, and the fact that people want to feel that their food is safe. My understanding is that you're pushing for reforms on food safety and ultra.
The processed foods thing is such bullshit. I've said this a million times before. The amount of processing isn't the issue. It's what they put in the food. And RFK Jr. consistently advocates for deregulation of the FDA, so corporations have even more leeway in deciding what they put in, sawdust or whatever. Meaningless. I think it's always been like that, Dana. You've probably just been eating better food. RFK has an insane crash out on CNN, spills his drink. Why not? All Maha types just shill for untested supplements. Yeah, it's just totally meaningless. Healthy eating is actually like really fucking simple. Like the dieting, exercise, they're all really, really, really simple. Did you see this raging anti-Semite, Alan Dershowitz? Yeah, I saw this. Whatever. I already knew he was an anti-Semite and a pedophile.